On to the UK now, though, a different kind of tension there doing the rounds. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson's second bid for a snap election has been rejected by the Parliament. Only 293 lawmakers voted in favour of Johnson's motion. This was way short of the number required. Johnson said that the lawmakers have now twice denied the British people their say in an election. He said that his government will make sure that Brexit is not delayed. Starting today, the Parliament has been suspended for 5 weeks till the 14th of October. Johnson said that he will use this time period to try and negotiate a deal with the European Union, and he will attend the summit in Brussels on the 17th of October. Here's what he said.
And no matter how many devices this Parliament invents to tie my hands, I will strive, Mr. Speaker, to get an agreement in the national interest. This government will not delay Brexit any further. We will not allow the emphatic verdict of the referendum to be slowly suffocated by further calculated drift and paralysis. Mr. Speaker, with permission.
Meanwhile, the opposition party has insisted that a law blocking a no-deal Brexit must be implemented, or Johnson could face legal actions. Remember, both the houses had voted in favour of a bill blocking a no-deal. The bill received royal assent on Monday and became a law. The previous law stated that Britain was to leave the EU on the 31st of October with or without a deal. But the new one forces the Prime Minister to seek a delay to Brexit till 31st January next year if he fails to get a deal from the European Union. But Johnson has not acknowledged this law. Opposition party leader Jeremy Corbyn said that the way Johnson operates is an absolute disgrace.
I think we've had quite enough of the playground politics, the Conservative Party this evening. The one thing the Prime Minister didn't say was that he was going to obey the law of this country. He did not say he acknowledged or accepted 3 votes that have taken place in this Parliament. And under his request, the House is now due, apparently, this evening to be prorogued for one of the longest prorogations in history.
This is the first time in more than 70 years that a British government has suspended Parliament after it faced opposition. The opposition lawmakers chanted "Shame on you" during the ceremony. House of Commons Speaker John Bercow also voiced his displeasure over the suspension.
Mr. Speaker, the Lords, who are authorised by Her Majesty's Commission.
And our London Bureau Chief Mandy Clark is joining us on the broadcast for more on that. Mandy, help us better understand how Boris Johnson wants to try and make his way around this law, which he no longer acknowledges. He wants to try and make sure that a deal is struck with the European Union, but at the same time, he faces a legal battle if he continues to say that the law, which has now been approved by the Parliament, is not something that he wants to abide by.
Well, that is a big question that lots of people are scratching their heads. He says he won't ask for an extension, but in the past, not necessarily himself, but Sajid Javid, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, said he won't break the law either. Now that it has become law, he will either have to find a solution. The agreement essentially says that he can't crash out, that they have to have a deal. So perhaps there will be lots of meetings and he can get a deal that Parliament can approve. That is the biggest hope for preventing a no-deal Brexit and him following the rule of law. Now, if he does threaten to break that rule, if he refuses to ask for an extension, then he could be taken to court and ultimately be put in jail. That is a real threat because he would be breaking the law. Now, it's unlikely to come down to that. We do know in the background of Westminster that Conservative Party members are looking at a way to get around this law. The hope that Boris Johnson had was a snap election would force a majority in the Conservative Party, and then he could ultimately create another law that would remove this law. That's not going to happen now. That has been voted down. So the way forward is very hard to see without him just sitting down, doing the tough negotiations and finding solutions with Brussels.
All right, we're going to leave it there for the moment, Mandy, but of course coming back to you as and when further updates come in. It's been a tumultuous few hours for the UK, to say the least. The confusion and uncertainty over Brexit continues.